Okay, today we are talking about sewing your pleats and your waistband in your Patti Pocket skirt. This is the front. We're going to start with the front. And all your insides have been serged, and you're going to find that center front notch. And the notches to either side of that is where your pleat starts. So you're going to pinch at the notch and fold it to meet the notch on your side front. And then you can kind of hold the back in place. Smooth it down. Add another pin. And then you're going to go to the other side of the center front. Note you're not doing anything with the actual center front notch. These are the notches to either side of the center front notch. Pinch at the notch and then meet it up with the other notch that's on the side front piece. Pin into place. This is the only time I ever really use pins in my sewing practice, is when I'm doing something like pleats or matching up notches or stripes or anything like that. And this is all going to get pressed into place afterwards. And moving on to the back, you're going to find your center back notches. There are two notches that are grouped together. Again, these notches are not part of a pleat, so we're moving to the next notch over, pinching that and matching it up with the next notch. This is on the center back piece. Put a pin there, and then you're going to find the third notch on the center back piece, and it's going to cross over that seam and match up with the notch on the side back piece. And if this is a little confusing, there's also a really great illustration in my instruction booklet. It's really important that all of these notches, all of these pleats get put in the right place. You're going to stay stitch those just about a 1/4 inch from the top edge. If the pleats aren't in the right place, your waistband is not going to fit correctly, so this is very important. You can see my stay stitching there. And I just wanted to add a quick note: if you are sewing the lining, you will pin and place your pleats in the same manner I just did. When we left off with the lining assembly video, all of your waist notches should have been aligned, and you're now going to treat the lining and the self as a one fabric. Okay, moving on to the waistband. As you can see, we have our zipper. You're going to zip that down for the moment, and you have your waistband, which should be pressed up 1/2 inch on the edge that does not have the notches. And one side of your waistband is going to have a notch that just has a 1/2 inch seam allowance. That's going to go on the front. And if you cut your waistband correctly with the pattern piece placed on the wrong side of the fabric, all of this should be matching up correctly. I'm going to pin that right where the zipper folded in, and then I'm going to match up this center front notch. Again, one of the few times I used pins. And then I'm going to find my my side seam notch and match that up with my side seam. As you can see, I'm horrible at clipping my threads, so I have a serger tail here in my way. And the next notch will be my center back notch, and you're looking for a double set of notches. Right there. And again, match those up, pin into place, And you can see you might have to do a little bit of easing here. This skirt actually stretched out a little bit whenever I was sewing. And on the back side you have a notch, not at the 1/2 inch seam allowance, but a little further in. That's going to create our little flap here for our hook and bar. So you have all the notches connected. Again, this right here is going to ease in. My fabric is stretchy, but my waistband is not because it's interfaced. So, well, not stretchy, but gives a little. So now we've had our waistband sewn on at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. You can see this piece that is hanging off on the back. I'm going to flip that over right sides together, and I'm going to sew a 1/2 inch across and down just to where I meet the zipper. You don't want to go over the zipper or it won't turn out correctly. And here's that stitching. I'm going to clip my corners. Don't clip through the seam, just clip as close to the corner as you can. And then this is where a point turner will come into handy if you have one. You want to turn this out. If you don't have a point turner, you can use a dull pencil. That's pretty much what I always used until I found this point turner at a flea market. But it really is helpful, and I kind of wish I would have bought one a long time ago. Turn out your points, make sure those are nice and crisp, and then this little zipper tail will tuck right in there. And you have a nice clean back flap for your hook and bar. On the front, again, you just have this 1/2 inch hangover seam allowance. So I'm going to tuck the zipper out of the way, and I'm going to just sew straight down this short edge with my right sides together. You want to close up that open edge there and get as close to your previous stitching as possible. Again, clip your corners. And fold them in. Tuck in that little zipper tail. And now you are ready to give your waistband a little bit of a pressing before you start sewing. Okay, I've pressed my waistband. I've pressed this point down here really nicely. And when you press your waistband, you just want to fold it to the back, and you want this folded edge to just cover your stitch right here. You notice I also pressed my seam allowance up into the waistband. You want to do that first before pressing your waistband. And then you're just going to stitch in the ditch using edge stitch foot, or if you have it, or just carefully with a regular foot. Making sure to catch the back open side of that waistband, and use pins if you need to. And guys, you are so close to being done with your skirt. Next week we'll do the finishing touches like the hook and bar and finishing up the hem, and we'll also be talking some styling tips. I can't wait to see all of you in your holiday skirts. Happy sewing, everyone!